by Warner Records, led by co-chair slash CEO Aaron Bayshuck and co-chair COO Tom Corson, will oversee Warner Music Nashville, None Such, and Reprise. That's pretty much it.
Why are they so? Listen, listen. Y'all got to revisit it then, maybe, to kind of express why, because they didn't even really give a good explanation of why this bothers them. Now, obviously, you see, Flip is looking because he's not well, as far as I know, he wasn't in the music industry. He came in the game as a content creator on YouTube, so he's looking like, what's going on here? And like, Melissa's looking at Ray Daniels because I don't think she was in a videos in the music industry, but she wasn't in the music business. Ice wasn't in the music business as far as I know. So you have Ray Daniels, who was an executive, and he's looking salty. And Joe Budden sipping his like the sips tea face, who was an artist in the music industry. So, what's going on? Like, why is there this reaction to this news as if there was something you were expecting different? Why is this a problem? So let's get into it and let's see. Maybe they'll give us an answer.
I mean,
I want to hear you. Yeah.
I mean,
I need Ray to break this
my
down
thing
for me.
so my thing is this: is number one, Elliot is great at what he's done. He's broke about 4 or 5 artists since he's had 10K.
Okay, we gotta acknowledge what he just said. He's great at what he does. He's broken about 4 or 5 artists. So if you have a music label, your job is to what? Break artists. Dame Dash broke Jay-Z. Kanye West, right? He broke a lot of artists. He was an executive. He's this legendary CEO. You have, then Jay-Z became a CEO and he broke Rihanna, J. Cole. So is Elliot Grainge doing the same thing that CEOs are supposed to do? Is it just a problem because he's white and he didn't have to start from the bottom, but he's still able to get the job done? The job done is to run a music label, break an artist, be profitable, make this artist successful and profitable, and corner or gain market share.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't start on the bottom floor.
Of course
not.
So if I have a company, right, and I'm the boss, and I have a son that wants to work for this company, they showed interest, and they also learned from me firsthand. You don't know what he was doing when he was with his father. You don't know the type of errands that his father may have had him on. You see, people assume that these guys are just rich and privileged and they haven't learned anything. No, a lot of these guys actually were doing more than you were doing at your age. And you can't have these discussions because people have things kind of backwards. When you come from certain environments, you're babied and you're not really taught the truth about a lot of different things. And you look at things from an emotional point of view. See, a lot of these people that went to these prep schools that came from higher income families, they actually had a lot of work to do. Their families made sure they were in the best schools where they had to do work. They had to be creative, and they had more smaller classrooms, and they could be more focused. But just because they had more focused environment doesn't mean they didn't have to work hard. Didn't mean they have to learn and do the same things that you are doing. We just had to do it on the fly. We had to do it coming from certain environments that may not have been the best and most productive for young men. And that is valid. And there is a history behind that, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is the results. So if I can hire my son, or when I will hire my son to run my company that I built or that I participated in as a high-level executive in, where I have shares or ownership or equity, I'm going to use my right to put him in a position, especially if he's proven himself, by doing what the job entails successfully. No offense, Ray Daniels, I don't know any artist that you've broken. And if you've broken 4 or 5 artists on the level of Elliot Grainge, then you have maybe you have an argument. But even then, it's not your company. If you have that type of skill set to break artists or knowledge, then you should make sure you have an equity share or equity stake in that company. See, people when they're CEOs of companies, they get equity. You guys are working for jobs and just not asking for the benefits that are available for you. So instead of just leveraging the knowledge that you have, you whine and you do the opposite of what you should do. See, the reason Jay-Z in the position that he's in, he got his masters from his albums and got high-level position. He leveraged his stock to gather as much stake as he could. The only thing he didn't get ownership of was the thing that he had, shared his masters with was with Reasonable Doubt. But everything else he was able to get because he leveraged his, the relationship with Def Jam in order to get his ownership of his music. Now, I don't know the relationship that he had with Dame back then and why the split happened the way it did, but he wanted to go his own way. And you can't be mad at a man who for wanted to do his own thing. That you can't. So this ties in back into mindset because I think they have to create your own music companies, run them, work together, gather the market share, and that's it. If they have more resources, then you have to realize that you need to maybe create a different industry and you need to be more creative and do something different. But from what I'm seeing, Jay-Z has his own label. He's Broken Artist and he has his own distribution. What's the problem? It can be done. It could be possible. And if people work together, PE and, you got Ice Cube with the Big Three, there should be a big advertisement right now on the Joe Budden podcast, but there isn't. So it's hard it really is hard to take these things serious when you don't see as much collaboration and partnerships and profit sharing and stuff like that. And I'm talking about on a high level, but let's continue.
No. He didn't start. He could have started at the bottom floor as an intern for Universal. He got a whole label deal out the gate. Mm-hmm. Like he had his own office on Sunset Boulevard and everything. He had a beautiful office. Like literally, no one from the Universal world.
Y'all hating that he had a nice office? Come on, fam. That should be aspirational. Like what? Come on. You got to give me more than he just had a nice office, and we don't like that. That daddy let him get a nice office. Come on.
Bro has an office in LA outside the office, except he did. So it was really like, damn, dad set him up.
Yeah, well, that's his dad. He's not your dad. Oh, shoot. Listen, man, I don't mean no disrespect either. But, come on. These issues, man, it just is what it is. And I get it. We come from these environments where, maybe we didn't have the father figure that we needed. And our father either was absent or they came from a cycle where maybe they didn't have a father. So you have to hold that into account, And when you hold that into account, you should be accountable. You have to be accountable for your actions. You got to be accountable moving forward. And you can't be afraid to just say, you know what, I looked at it the wrong way. And actually, there's no one to blame but myself. I could have made this decision. I could have made this decision to make my life, even better than where I thought. So, it just comes across like, just whining. Nobody wants to hear grown men complain. They want to see men get to work. If they have 38% of the industry, then what about the other 62%?
How he gets promoted to this, and to me, it just feel like the rich gets richer. But on the other side, he's really a good.
That term was very once I found out that term and really thought about it. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So when they say the rich get richer, that means somebody that's rich is going to get richer. So there's a first level of rich, right? There's at some point you start to get rich. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich. The first word or that statement is think. Think rich, grow rich. So the rich, by your definition, the rich get richer, you have to think rich. So at the point that you start thinking rich, you are going to progressively become richer. Let me repeat that. The moment that you think rich, and I don't mean think that you are rich, I mean think rich, think like a rich person. And I don't mean an evil person, because some people associate being rich with evil. No, people are people. There's good people, there's bad people. There's poor people that are good, there's poor people that are bad. There's rich people that are good, there's rich people that are bad. And yes, having money can make you way more of what you way more of what you are. And it can, have the risk of becoming something that's bad if you have too much excess or access to things, of course. But also can poverty. It's not good to be poverty. It's not good to be dirty. It's not good to be filthy. So when people hear the rich get richer, they think evil people get richer. No. Just people that think rich get richer, because it's the law of attraction. What you think about, what you're going to focus on, you're going to learn about that. You're going to implement that. You're going to try things with that. So there's things that rich people do. They invest. They're proactive. They maintain positivity, because it takes a positive mindset and mentality in order to continue. Because there's going to be days when you're feeling down, you're going to be negative, you're going to feel fearful. So you have to have a rich mentality, mindset. And when you have a rich mindset, it's simple. Just like the EYL thing, you have assets over liabilities. Assets can apply to your tangible assets, such as real estate, art, stocks, right? But it also can be the intangible assets, such as time. What am I doing with my time? Is it adding to my life, or is it subtracting? So rich people, what are they? They're reading, most likely. They're learning something. And yes, rich people do travel. But when they travel, they're learning. They're not just traveling to party and go on spring break and spend money. They're going to do a trip that was going to be a write-off. They might go to a conference. Shoot, they might throw a conference like EYL. So they have the potential to really break some ground, because it looks like they really, really understand business on a high level. But it's important that they don't get caught up in any emotions and any discouragement when it comes to different platforms or different races of people. You have to stay positive, stay fearless, and continue to move forward. And there's going to be bickering. There's going to be groups of us that, disagree at times. You got the Jason Whitlocks. You got Deion Sanders and Stephen A. Smith. You got Joe Budden. You got Rory and Maul. Rory's black. So then you got the Hassan Campbells, the Anton Daniels, Tariq Nasheeds. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I know there's understanding of business. There's understanding of leadership. So once the people that are really the powerhouses decide to put their feelings down and collaborate and to grow into a real empire, we'll continue to learn and grow and build our businesses that way. But let's play a little bit more.
Good executive. He's broken a lot of acts, probably more than anybody else. It's just...
Wait, so he's broken more acts than anybody else? And you're questioning why? That's not making sense. Yo, he did his job really well, probably better than anybody else. But man, I'm mad he got that nice office, and what's going on here?
It's just, you know what it is? It's just this what I feel. Joe, I'm gonna say this. You know what the problem is
he don't even know what he want to say. He feeling, man, that's not your dad, bro. You your dad now, man. You your father. Go hard. You got it, man. Don't fear. Don't even worry.
That white men can get to skip the line.
Oh shit. Why are you in that line? Why are you not in the line that, like a Jay-Z's line? Why aren't you doing it, or why are you in Dame Dash's line? What is going on? What are y'all talking about? What is this conversation?
So, like, we gotta fucking do everything. Every and anything just to show that we deserve to be at the table. And he just...
His hand going in and out of his pocket, brother. Listen, man, I'm not trying to disparage you, man. Like I respect you. You got a good show, great points too. You was talking against kind of like this mindset, but trauma is real, man. And I'm not. Listen, listen. I'm not trying to act like I know it all. But I think a little bit of this that comes out with black men is trauma, man. Our environments where we came from, single mother households, lack of leadership, lack of fatherhood, true fatherhood, patriarchy. It led to a lot of emotional instability. So when certain things happen, we overreact. And like that's as men, you don't want to overreact. You want to look at things in a masculine way, in a productive way. So you can go back to your family and your team and, lead them back into battle. Because that music industry is a battle. You're battling for market share. And it doesn't have to be tense. It doesn't have to be stressful for you. When you're a king and you're cool and you're calm and you play the game like chess. And you teach your children how to play the game like chess. But let's continue.
Skip the line, and now he's Kevin Lyle's boss. Now Kevin Lyle, it's like, that's Kevin Lyle's.
Yeah, but y'all put Kevin Lyles on the pedestal. To them, Kevin Lyles was just a good worker, a high-level worker, a good executive leadership, but he was still a worker. He didn't have the ownership or the equity. He wasn't on the board. Was he in the board? I don't know. He just didn't have that sway. It wasn't his kingdom. It doesn't make any sense, man. Kevin Lyles should have had his own kingdom if he was so about it. With you being A&R or whatever on that label, he could have left at any time. No one forced him to stay with them. Y'all could have had your own thing if that's what it is.
Like Kaiser,
you could have had Kaiser, Kevin Lyles, and your own thing if that's what y'all wanted to do. Y'all took checks, y'all took whatever y'all got, and that's the position that y'all wanted to do. No one forced y'all to take these positions in these companies.
Lon Ray, and by the way, I'm saying he's great, but I'm saying, you mean to tell me that?
By the way, I'm saying he's great. At the end of the day, he's still saying the dude is great. For a dude that is, you're surprised he got a lot of compliments. And not only is he great, he's the son of the CEO. And he wants now. It's like it's like Michael Jordan's son, right? And what I mean by Michael, because this is let's compare to basketball. Lucian Grainge is performing in his game. Instead of it being basketball, it's the music industry, and he's the CEO of an umbrella of companies, and he's running it. As much as we want to critique him, it's profitable and it's working. And you guys sign deals with them every day. You do some kind of business with them in some shape or form. Whether you say you have to or not, you do. Michael Jordan was dominating in this game, basketball. So imagine if Michael Jordan had a son that not only wanted to play, because Michael Jordan had sons that wanted to play ball, that did play ball, but they weren't good. They didn't win any championships. They didn't come into the NBA. Imagine if Michael Jordan's son came into the league and won 2 championships. Not 6, but he won 2. And then the league said, you know what? I want to get this dude a crazy deal and make him the owner of a basketball team way quicker than, let's say, like LeBron or something. He did what he needed to do, and he has the DNA of the former leader. It's like they're replacing Lucian Grainge. They don't want a new person to come in there. They want to keep doing what they're doing, and they have the power to do that because it's theirs. They run it like it's theirs. They have that executive authority. There's hierarchy. Simple.
Lon Ray wasn't worth the upgrade. You mean to tell me Kaiser wasn't worth that? You mean to me, it's always just like we're arguing over scraps. Meanwhile, they're playing chess and making real moves.
So why are you not playing chess? If you know they playing chess, why are you not playing chess? That says a lot more about you than it does them. If you know what someone's doing and you're just chilling and you're comfortable with what you're getting, instead of just being proactive and just making the decision to play the game differently, whose fault is that?
And to me, the only way this changes is if we start trusting each other and supporting each other and just saying straight.
You don't gotta trust people you do business with. You don't gotta make sure it's profitable for everybody. You gotta have incentives. Trust is not a good incentive when it comes to business, man. Y'all talk like this. This is why, black man, y'all not doing it right. Nobody gotta trust each other. Nobody gotta really. You have to do things. I mean, I'm not saying do business with slime balls, but I'm saying you're not my wife. You're not my brother. You know. Now we can of course build these bonds and these relationships, do business, of course. And it is always better to do business with someone that is way harmonious, with from the beginning. But we have to come on, we have to think seriously. You got to think like men at some point.
The fuck up. I'm not doing that if that person ain't there.
What is this? Some striking? Like striking? No, say do you want to leverage like things? You want to not work for this company? Then why don't y'all start your own? Then y'all choose to go on strike or you choose to leave, whatever. And then then they'll replace y'all, or maybe they won't, maybe their company will fold. But crying about it is not going to do anything.
And if we did more of that, it would change it. But that's nasty work, bro. And let me tell you why I say the only part that feels like I don't want to say the active word of nepotism, but the only word that feels like nepotism to me is when a CEO, when L.A. Reid took over Arista, he had to sell LaFace. When a
Nobody makes y'all do these deals, man. If someone comes to the table with a business deal, you can take it or leave it. When someone comes to the table with a job description and a job duty and a pay, you can take it or leave it. What are we talking about?
nigga, when Ron Perry took over Columbia, he had to sell. He sold songs on publishing. Right?
Shit, Hov did it with Def Jam.
When Hov took over Def Jam, he had to. They sold Rockefeller.
They sold Rockefeller.
He sold. That's you build companies to sell them. So he sold a company, right? He sold one company, got a large sum of money from that company, had ownership of the content of that company that he created, his albums, except for reasonable doubt. He got a high-level executive position in an established record company. So he was able to learn about their processes, learn about their job duties and how they run their company on a high level. Literally there. He got training. And then he took that and he created Rock Nation. He took what he learned from Def Jam in order to create his own. He played chess. That's what he did. He played chess. And I don't think Jay-Z ever publicly said that or would say that, but that's what he did. Yes, he could have built with Dame and them, but there was a personality clash. Dame was too cocky. Dame didn't understand how to, build relationships a certain way. And Dame looked at things like, street. And Jay looked at it more corporate. And yeah, Jay did a little snake thing. You can look at it sneaky, but he had to do it that way just because he couldn't be too straightforward about his moves. So he had to, it is what it is. He had to play it like he played it. And not only that, Dame had a chance to prove his value by starting another company or starting another label. Nothing's impossible. Jay-Z ran Def Jam for the time he did, and then he went on to start his label, Rock Nation, or his management company. So it's just unfortunate, when people take the route that they take instead of just really looking, dissecting the situation. And you got to start with yourself before you dissect the situation. How am I thinking? Why do I think this way? We got to look at our environments where we came from. Just look at things in a complete way. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming it on race. It's not that complicated. Play the game smart.
And he gets to be the CEO of Atlantic. If that, you can't name one. Matter of fact, you can't.
Jay-Z got to keep he didn't get to keep Rockefeller Records, but he got to keep his content from Rockefeller Records. He got to keep ownership of his albums. So technically he got to keep the value, or a lot of the value, from Rockefeller. Or a lot of his value from Rockefeller. He poured out, he extracted his value, except for reasonable doubt. That's the only thing he didn't get.
Can't add 10 black executives up. in this business and add all their track record, and none of them have half of the opportunity he gets. But he's great. I just wish that they didn't dance in our face like that. That's my problem, Joe. It's like the dancing in my face, like, what y'all gonna do?
You see,
Who's dancing in your face? Yo, show me the video where they're dancing in your face. Show me the statement that they made where they're dancing in your face. This sounds like some personal internalization, trauma. Like, and I'm not trying to disparage, but we really, really got to put things in perspective.
you're saying he's great, and he very well may be. I don't feel like 10K has been productive enough for this.
Get into. I hope he gets into detail. Let's see what he says.
And
I also don't feel like they really needed to be 10K. Is what Ice Spice, Tekashi, Trippie Redd. There's somebody else that I'm missing.
Ice Spice, Tekashi.